in the guitar world. Some names are pure consensus, but a lot of geniuses remain in the shadows. In our last video, we started to shine a light on some of these talents. Now, it's time to keep that journey going. Get ready to discover 10 criminally underrated guitarists, Part 2. Alex Lifeson is a guitarist for Rush, the legendary Canadian progressive and hard rock band that emerged in the 70s. Alongside Geddy Lee and Neil Peart, he helped shape the band's complex and unique sound. Even though he played in one of the biggest bands in the genre, his name doesn't come up nearly as often as it should. Technically, the guy's a beast. He blends heavy riffs with rich harmonies and atmospheric tones. Lifeson paints sonic landscapes with his guitar, using delays, modulation effects, and alternate tunings. His solos are emotional and tasteful, never about empty virtuosity. A lot of people overlook Lifeson because of the spotlight often shining on Peart's drumming or Lee's vocals and bass. He's always been more reserved, and that quiet genius vibe made some people miss just how essential he is. But if you really dive into Rush's sound, you'll quickly realize he's a key part of the magic. Scotty Moore was a guitarist behind Elvis Presley in his early days, and he pretty much helped define the sound of rock and roll. He was there from the very beginning, when rock was still that raw blend of country, blues, and R&B coming out of Sun Records. With a lean, groovy playing style, Scotty pioneered the licks and phrasing that became standard in rock. His lines were fast, clean, and carried that classic slapback delay sound that became iconic. He played with insane class, never over the top. Even though he was a rock foundation, his name doesn't get the recognition it deserves. Maybe it's because he was overshadowed by Elvis, or maybe he just wasn't chasing the spotlight. Either way, without him, rock would have sounded very, very different. Paul Kossoff is best known for his work with the band Free, especially for the hit All Right Now. The son of a famous actor, he got into British blues rock in the 60s and 70s, leaving behind a short but unforgettable legacy before his untimely death. Kossoff wasn't about speed. He made every note count. His playing was heavy and soulful, packed with emotional bends and a signature vibrato. He had a feel that's hard to replicate. Just a few notes, and he could make his Les Paul weep. Sadly, his name often gets left out of the legendary guitarist convos, maybe because his career was cut short or he didn't have a massive solo catalog. But those who really listen can tell he had something special, a straight-up heart-to-strings connection. You gotta check out the first video in this series to discover more amazing guitarists who deserve way more love. Click the card at the top of your screen. Steve Cropper is one of the most important guitarists in American soul and R&B. He played with giants like Otis Redding, Sam and Dave, and Wilson Pickett, and was also a core member of Booker T and the MGs. Pure instrumental groove. His style is tight, funky, and straight to the point. Cropper is the king of iconic riffs, always playing in service of song. His sharp chords, rhythmic picking, and clean lines define the soul sound of the 60s. He knew how to leave space and bring the swing. Even though he played on tons of classics, a lot of folks don't even know his name. That's because he was always a behind-the-scenes guy, the groove architect. But any serious student of black music knows, Cropper's a real deal. Terry Kath was the original guitarist and vocalist for Chicago, back when the band was a bold mix of rock, jazz, and soul, before they went more pop in the late 70s. Kath was behind the group's heavier and more experimental side. He was a wild guitarist, raspy tone, unpredictable solos. Jimi Hendrix reportedly said Terry was better than him, and it's easy to see why. Kath blended technique, emotion, and raw stage energy. Just listen to a free-form guitar. It's an all-out sonic trip. The tragedy is that his life ended at 31, and the band took a different direction afterward. A lot of people don't even connect Chicago with that psychedelic rock era, but if you dig into those early albums, you'll hear it. Terry Kath was a monster. Eddie Hazel was a guitarist for Funkadelic, the George Clinton-led band that fused funk, psychedelia, and heavy rock. He was like the Jimi Hendrix of funk, bringing soulful, trippy solos into the groovy world of P-Funk. His solo in Maggot Brain is straight up legendary. Over 10 minutes of pure emotion, like the guitars crying heart out. Hazel used wah-wah, fuzz, and a whole lot of soul. Yeah, he had chops, but what really set him apart was the feeling, the raw passion in every note. Because he operated in that funk psychedelic space and had some personal struggles, Hazel never broke into the mainstream. But among musicians and dedicated fans, he's nothing less than a genius. Mick Mars is a guitarist for Motley Crue, the ultimate hard rock / glam metal band of the 80s. With his dark look and quiet vibe, he was the total opposite of the rest of the band, but his guitar work was crucial to that gritty, in-your-face sound. He laid down thick, distorted riffs with a bluesy meets metal kind of edge. Despite serious health issues, he always brought it on stage with a unique, powerful style. Mick doesn't usually show up on those greatest guitarist lists because he wasn't a flashy shredder. But let's be real, his style was bold, influential, and had a signature all its own. Without him, Crue wouldn't have had that dirty attitude that defined a whole era. Are you enjoying this list? Like the video, share with your friends, drop a comment, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more awesome content like this. Tony MacAlpine is one of the most respected names in instrumental metal and classical fusion. He dropped some jaw-dropping solo albums in the 80s and played with heavyweights like Steve Vai, Vinnie Moore, and Planet X. The guy's a virtuoso, no doubt. His technique is off the charts. Sweep picking, tapping, crazy arpeggios, lightning speed. You name it. But unlike a lot of shredders, Tony's also a classically trained pianist, which gives his music an extra dose of depth and sophistication. His tracks have structure, soul, and serious complexity. Still, MacAlpine never reached the fame of other virtuosos from his era, maybe because he's low-key, or just followed a more artistic path over a commercial one. But among musicians, he's one of the best-kept secrets in instrumental rock. Carlos Cavazo rose to fame as a guitarist for Quiet Riot, especially during the mental health explosion in the 80s. He later joined Rat and continued to be a solid force in the California hard rock scene. His playing combined heavy riffs with well-structured melodic solos. He wasn't the most technical shredder out there, but his musical sense was razor sharp. He had great tone and brought a unique flavor to everything he played. Since he was in bands often seen as part of the flashy hard rock wave, Carlos didn't get the credit he deserved, but he always delivered creative, consistent work with tons of attitude. One of those guys who holds it down with style, no spotlight needed. Masayoshi Takanaka is a Japanese guitarist who blends jazz fusion, rock, and tropical vibes in his music. Starting in the 70s, he carved out a vibrant, colorful sound inspired by everything from Santana to Hawaiian tunes. His guitar skills are top tier, speedy licks, smooth bends, and tasteful arrangements. His albums are masterclasses in musicality, filled with danceable grooves, expressive solos, and unmistakably sunny vibe. Even though he's a legend in Japan, Takanaka never got the global recognition he deserves. Maybe it's a language barrier, or maybe his style's just too off for some, but once you hear his music, you'll get it. It's pure sonic joy. And that wraps up another list of guitarists who brought immense talent and left a serious mark, even if they didn't always get the spotlight. From funk legends to metal masters, each one has their own magic. Hope you enjoyed getting to know these names, and that you're inspired to go check out more of their work. Tell us which guitarists you think should be on this list. Drop a comment, hit that like button, and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Thanks for watching.